Kelderman and Brett Heater make up row number 4. Looks like Winslow going to choose to start at the tail. Pace picks up. Green is out. Let's go back to racing. Derek Green in the 32 takes the top spot. Everybody pushing up the track in turn number 1. Green, Jones go 1 and 2. Look out, making them 3 wide down the backstretch. Brett Heater making a move into 0-5. He started at the tail of the field trying to take over 4th, but can't get the grip down low as they come off turn 4. Your leader is Derek Green. Still side by side for 4th with Heater and Winia. Haven't had Glenn Winia with us here the last couple of years at Park Jefferson Speedway. Glenn, a longtime driver in the Sport Mod division, the B&B Salvage 36 car. But off of turn 4, Derek Green got a little tail of it. Glenn Winia goes around. Winia goes around in 4, keeps those tires spinning. Winia trying to get it rolling. We're going to trying to keep it going. He'll back it down. Caution on the speedway. Caution for the 36 of Glenn Winia. Here for the USRA Ironman stock cars. Derek Green, your leader in the 32. 2 down, 5 to go. Pace picks up. We're going back green. Josh Kelderman not getting up to speed in the 43K. He falls to the tail of the field as Derek Green and Brad Jones, your top 2 cars. John DeBoer, Chad Loneman, Paul Winslow. Winslow and Loneman, they've been joined at the hip since the drop of the green flag. But out front, Derek Green living up to the hype in the 32. Heard lots of good things about him this season, and he's out front and dominating here in heat race number 1. Brad Jones, John DeBoer, Chad Loneman, Paul Winslow still your top 5. But Derek Green dominating heat race number 1. Everybody working the cushion top side of the speedway. John DeBoer, Chad Loneman, Paul Winslow, 3, 4, and 5, pretty much nose and tail. But Derek Green dominant here early on. John DeBoer way high off 4. He's going to lose 3rd spot. Loneman gets by. Paul Winslow, Glenn Winia battling for 4th and 5th. Brett Heater joins that battle as well. But Heater can't make the grip down low. Meanwhile, your leader coming off turn 4. One more time around for the 32 of Derek Green. Heater and Winia still battling for position. Yankton, Paul Winslow and John DeBoer battling for position. But off of turn 4, a dominating performance in heat race number 1. Your winner from Grenada, Minnesota, the 32 of Derek Green. Second to the 1 of Brad Jones, Chad Loneman, John DeBoer, and Paul Winslow, your top 5. Winslow having some trouble there in the final lap, but able to stay inside the top 5. But picking up heat race number 1 in a dominant fashion, rolling down the front stretch in the 32 car from Grenada, Minnesota, it's Derek Green. In the 32X, Lynn Panos in the 97. Darren Cordles and Casey Jones, row 3. Randy Brands, Roger Verdorn, row 4. The stacked heat race number 2 goes green. Taylor Williams takes the top spot. Glenn Jones in second. Darren Cordles up the inside. They're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch. Cordles, Jones, and Gregoire. Actually, that's the 97 of Panos on the outside in that battle for the 3rd spot. Williams still leads. Glenn Jones second. Darren Cordles trying to work the low line to get around Jones for that runner-up spot. Roger Verdorn in the 04 into the inside of Lynn Panos for 4th. Look out, sideways in turn 4, trying to get back on the gas. He'll lose the lead. The 15 of Williams loses the lead to Glenn Jones. Tweety Bird's up front, the 13 under pressure now from Darren Cordles and Williams back on the gas, but Williams not getting the bite in the 15. It's Jones and Cordles go 1 and 2. Darren Cordles with a bunch of wins with us here at Park Jefferson Speedway in the late model street stock series. But moving to the stock car full time this year, trying to pick up a heat race win here early on tonight. But it's Glenn Jones out front in the 13, Darren Cordles, Taylor Williams, the 97 of Lynn Panos, and the 04, Roger Verdorn, your top 5. Cordles again going to take a look to the bottom in turn 4. But Glenn Jones got a bunch of laps around Park Jeff. He'll hold on to the top spot for now. Jones drifts a little high in turn 1. Cordles back to the gas first. Cordles takes a look at the inside but can't get it done as Jones slams the door. Jones, Cordles, Wilms, your top 3. The battles with the top 3 have allowed 4th and 5th to join as the top 5 cars basically all right together on the speedway. Two to go. 5 down, 2 to go for Glenn Jones in the 13. Jones with about a car length advantage over Cordles. Now the 97 Machino Panos looks to the outside, trying to take over the 3rd spot as Jones diamonds down the corner. Might open the door for Cordles on the outside if he can get there. As Panos to the inside of Wilms for 3rd. Verdorn in that spot as well. Casey Jones in a 0-13 up to join the top 5 as well. But one final time, what's Cordles and Jones going to do? Glenn Jones pushes up. Cordles runs into tire tracks around the speedway. Tweety Bird, first one of the checkered flag. Glenn Jones, your winner. Darren Cordles, 2nd. Taylor Wilms, 3rd. The 97 Lynn Panos and a 0-4 Roger Verdorn. Your top 5 here in heat race number 2. Glenn Jones having a pretty up and down season this year here in the stock car division of Park Jefferson Speedway. And if you think I'm kidding, there's actually a giant Tweety Bird on this 13 car. I think it's kind of started as a rib after he got a lot of grief for showing up with a bright yellow car. But if you look on the hood of the 13, yes, indeed, that is the Tweety Bird. And tagging the tail of the field, the T&J Auto Sales 95 from Sioux City, Tom McKenzie. 7 cars, 7 laps, heat race number 3. 3rd and final heat race for the USRA Ironman stock cars. Goes green off turn number 4. Todd Staley showing a little smoke out of the 14 car as the 44 Dylan Anderson goes around to the top spot. Staley 2nd, Fitzpatrick, Olivier, and Monroe your top 5. Fitzpatrick too tall and out of extra, which allows Olivier to get by for 3rd. But Fitzpatrick trying to make that bottom line work in 3 and 4. Your leader after lap 1, it's the 44 of Dylan Anderson. Anderson, Staley, Olivier, Fitzpatrick, Monroe as Tom McKenzie battling Bretton Palmer back in the pack for that 6th spot. Zach Olivier up to the rear bumper of Staley in turns 3 and 4, but just a little high off 4. That allows Fitzpatrick to reel him in. Dylan Anderson, your leader. Todd Staley, Zach Olivier, Dylan Fitzpatrick, Carl Monroe, your top 5. Best battle on a speedway is for the 3rd spot with a 71 of Olivier and the 82 of Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick dives to the bottom, tries to get to the inside of Olivier. Look out, Carl Monroe goes around. Bretton Palmer trying to avoid. He's out in the tall grass outside of turn number 4. We're going to have caution on the speedway. Caution for the 1M of Monroe. Bretton Palmer had to take some evasive action. Ended up way out in the tall grass. Both cars got refired. Your leader in the 44, it's Dylan Anderson. Todd Staley chose the outside line. Zach Olivier outside. Tom McKenzie, Dylan Fitzpatrick, Carl Monroe, Bretton Palmer. The 7 cars set to go again. 3 laps down, 4 remain as we go back to green flag racing in heat race number 3. Anderson leads. Olivier again takes a look to the inside of Staley for the 2nd spot, but cannot complete the pass. It's Anderson, Staley, Olivier, Fitzpatrick, McKenzie. Olivier goes a little lower as Staley gets a little high, kicks that tail end out. Olivier trying to capitalize on the 14 as they go into turn 3 up the inside. Olivier going to run the lower line. Carl Monroe having trouble in the 1M. 1M to the pits. Olivier and Staley still battling. Dylan Fitzpatrick joins he wants to make that a 3-way in the battle for that 2nd spot. But out front, Dylan Anderson in the 44 getting it done. Staley, Olivier, and Fitzpatrick 2, 3, and 4. Olivier again all over the bumper of Staley for 2nd. Fitzpatrick on Olivier's bumper for 3rd. As the white flag flies, Dylan Anderson out to a big lead in the 44. Olivier again trying to find a way around the 14 of Staley. But as they come off turn number 4, checkered flag is going to fly. Heat race number 3 goes to the corner aisle with Dylan Anderson. second to Todd Staley. Zach Olivier third, Dylan Fitzpatrick fourth, and rounding out the top 5. So your heat race winner, heat race number 3 in the 44 of Dylan Anderson. Dylan Anderson, Glenn Jones, Derek Green picking up 3 heat races in the stock cars. Lights go out around Park Jefferson Speedway, 18 laps the distance. It's USRA Ironman stock car main event time. $1,000 on the line. Todd Staley, Zach Olivier, bring him to the crane, and we go racing. Todd Staley hard on the gas, moving the field into turn number 1. Zach Olivier trying to work the outside line, a crossover, get to the inside of turn 2, but can't make it stick. Staley, your leader. Olivier, Green, and the 44 of Dylan Anderson, your top 4. Todd Staley, too tall in 3 and 4. Kicking it out wide. Glenn Jones goes around. Oh, we've got a parking lot in turn 4. Caution on the speedway. Absolute parking lot in turn 4. Chad Loneman, the 117L, caught a bunch of damage. Tom McKenzie involved. Rich Gregoire, Randy Brands, Carl Monroe. The 05 of Brett Heater, Glenn Jones, Casey Jones, Bretton Palmer, Paul Winslow, all involved at the bottom of turn number 4. Taylor Wilms down there as well. And the 44 of Dylan Anderson, row 2. Row 3 now is Brad Jones and Darren Cordles. As they work their way through turns 3 and 4, coming back to the green flag, we go racing in. No lap scored complete with Todd Staley, your leader. Off into turn 1, Zach Olivier on the top side of the speedway. Olivier on the gas, gets the momentum off top side of the speedway. Olivier with the advantage. They're almost 3 wide into turn 3. Staley shoots up the gap up the middle. Anderson checks up. Green works the bottom. They're coming around the speedway off top side. Zach Olivier leads lap 1, 3 wide for second into turn number 1. Green, Staley, and Anderson. Dylan Anderson in the 44 moves up from 5th to 2nd. And here comes Darren Cordles in the 11K. Anderson, Staley, Cordles bumper tag through 3 and 4. But Zach Olivier, your leader in the 71. Olivier out front, Dylan Anderson second. Derek Green, Todd Staley, Darren Cordles, your top 5. Everybody working top side of the speedway. Derek Green in the middle, Darren Cordles trying to work the bottom, but losing touch with the top 4 cars. As a couple cars go around in 3 and 4, Carl Monroe and Rich Gregoire going around in 3 and 4. We'll have caution on the speedway. Zach Olivier, your leader. He brings the field back to the green flag. Olivier working the top side of the speedway. He'll pull back to the lead. Dylan Anderson, Todd Staley, Darren Cordles with a big run. But Cordles tips off down the backstretch. Cordles loses the spot. And here comes Roger Road. Look out, Derek Green gets sideways. Contact. Lots of cars going around in turn 4. As Darren Cordles showing some heavy front end damage on the 11K. Again, 4 laps are scored complete. 4 down, 14 to go in the USRA Ironman stock car main event. Zach Olivier on the gas brings the field back to the green flag. Dylan Anderson follows Olivier on the top side of the speedways. Todd Staley trying to make the bottom side work. But Anderson fighting back. Anderson and Staley go wheel to wheel another time around Park Jefferson Speedway. Staley inside, Anderson outside. As Staley beginning to make a little headway in that middle groove. Zach Olivier leads Staley, Anderson. Brett Heater started 19th and was involved in the first wreck, but Heater, he's on a heater. Big run off too. He's going to try to take 3rd from Staley. Brett Heater in the 05, making some moves, slicing and dicing, back up to 4th. As Staley gets back around. Zach Olivier leads. Dylan Anderson, Todd Staley, Brett Heater in the 04. Staley too tall in 3 and 4. He's going to lose touch of the top 2 cars. Heater trying to get by. Put Zach Olivier out front. Dylan Anderson second. Brett Heater with a big bobble. Allows Staley to get back around. Meanwhile, Roger Verdorn up to 5th in the 04. Olivier and Anderson go 1 and 2. Todd Staley still having some trouble around the top side of the speedway. He's holding down the 3rd spot ahead of Heater and Verdorn. Field getting stretched out about a bit around Park Jefferson Speedway. We got one around in turn 4, but he's still rolling, trying to keep that car fired. Caution on the speedway. Caution for the 43 of Josh Kelderman. Josh Kelderman brings the 43K car back out onto the speedway. As Olivier gets on the gas in turn 4, we're going back green flag racing. Zach Olivier, your leader into turns 1 and 2. He's got Dylan Anderson in tow. Anderson dives to the bottom in turn 2, trying to make a move around Olivier. Can't make it stick. Todd Staley, the 05 of Brett Heater. Anderson too tall in 3 and 4. Anderson way out in the loose grass. He's going to lose 3, 4, 5 spots. As Anderson back on track. Zach Olivier, your leader. Todd Staley. We got one out in the grass in turn 4. He's still rolling. Also got Carl Monroe, it looks like. Looks like Carl Monroe around in turn 3. Well, lights go out around the speedway. We're going to try this once again. 12 laps down, 6 laps remain. Zach Olivier still out front. Derek Green getting aggressive on the top side of the speedway as we're going green. Olivier top side. Brent Heater trying to work the bottom side of the speedway as 4 cars all right together around the track. It's Olivier, Staley, Heater working the bottom, dives it in deep into 3 and 4. Olivier slides up there to come 3 wide down the front stretch. Heater checks up, thinks better of it. Staley slides up, slide job, Todd Staley. Olivier crosses over, tries to get back to the inside, but out front it's Staley. Olivier now second. Derek Green, Brett Heater 3rd and 4. Staley too tall at 3 and 4. Olivier trying to make the bottom slide work, but out 4. Too strong. Todd Staley, your leader. Derek Green on the bottom of turn number 1, trying to take over the 3rd spot for Brett Heater, but can't make it stick. Dylan Anderson back up in the top 5. Heater to the bottom of the speedway. He's going to try a slider, but thinks better of it. He'll hold on to that 3rd spot. Derek Green around the top side. Green trying to hold off Dylan Anderson for the 4th spot. But Todd Staley might be losing the handle on the 14. It seems like after a couple of laps, Staley has some trouble keeping it smooth in the corners. This time by the flag stand. 2 to go. Brett Heater throws a big slaughter once again. At the line, it's Staley, Olivier, Heater, and Green. Derek Green might be in the catbird seat if these top 3 cars take each other out. Todd Staley leads down the backstretch. Zach Olivier, Brett Heater, Derek Green. Heater getting more and more aggressive. Staley with a bobble off 4. At the line, white flag waves, 1 to go. Todd Staley's got a car length over Zach Olivier. What will Olivier do through turns 3, 1 and 2? Olivier slows down, cuts to the bottom line. Heater loses 3rd to Derek Green. Will Olivier make a crazy move through 3 and 4? He'll stay in the tire track's top side of the speedway. Double checkered flags out. Todd Staley picks up $1,000. Olivier 2nd, Green 3rd. fourth, Brett Heater, and the 44 machine, Dylan Anderson, rounds out your top 5. Well, he started on the pole, but that doesn't tell the story. He worked his way back up through the field, and he'll get down in victory lane momentarily. Great run from Zach Olivier. Derek Green with a good recovery back through the field as well.
Yes, sir. We are making our way across the front straightaway here to Park Jefferson Speedway victory lane. We'll wait for your USRA stock car winner to come climbing out of the 14. Race fans, he's out of the car. Todd Staley in 14. You may have started on the pole, but as they just said, that doesn't really tell the tale, as you really had to work for that one.
Yes, Zach had a great run, and Dylan screwed up on one lap and drove off the corner. And it was really tricky, getting really tricky up there. And then the last 2 laps, I lost my brakes, and it was like, oh boy. Yeah, but just held on and got lucky, I guess.
The 05 started inside of the 10th row, and the 32 had a flat and came all the way back through. Those guys were coming.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, the track's awesome. There was a lot of stuff on the bottom of the racetrack, and I mean, I felt that you had to be around the very top to be fast, but. I knew he was in with a flat, and I seen 05. He come up and waved at me beside on one of the cautions, and I was like, man, he come from the 20th. So hats off to everyone. Great job on the racetrack.
How about the season? Never won a race before ever until this year. Now what is this? 5 on the year? What a year!
I don't know. I've just been getting lucky, and I know everybody's gonna say, well, he started on the pole, but I was the 8th one to draw, and these guys all left me the number 1 pole. So and I didn't want to start there, but. No, it's been great. Got a new car from Harris and finally figured out how to drive it a little bit. So just having fun.
There it is, $1,000. Richard, give a hand on Staley, your stock car winner here in 14.